I'm meteorologist Peter Chan at the National Weather Service for Alaska statewide weather on this Tuesday, May 23rd. Well, river breakup continues to be quite active along state rivers. The Yukon and Kobuk rivers are being closely monitored because the potential for ice jam and snowmelt flooding continues and is occurring in certain locations. We have a broader flood watch for the upper Yukon as a result of very heavy snowmelt entering the river system from the upper Yukon and Porcupine rivers, and it's caused flooding at Fort Yukon and Stevens Village, where there are flood warnings currently in effect. That high water is working its way downstream. As we go down into the middle portion of the Yukon River, we have flood advisories for Ruby, Galena, down through Kaltag. And then further downstream, a flood warning remains in effect on the Yukon River at Russian Mission, and below there, all the way to the Yukon Delta, a flood watch is in effect. And that lower portion of the Yukon is going to be especially susceptible to some ice jam flooding because there's still ice in place on the river down that way. And we have a series of different ice and high water waves that are working their way down the Yukon system. Also, the Kobuk River basin remains under a flood watch. The flood warning that was in effect for Kobuk has been lowered to an advisory, and we have advisories there from Kobuk down through Ambler as water levels remain very high. And water levels will remain high across most rivers and creeks here throughout the state, so be very careful if you're going to be recreating this weekend with Memorial Day weekend coming up. Also of note, a cold front will work its way down along the Arctic coast, North Slope, and the spine of the Brooks Range, and it could produce some late season snowfall later this Tuesday night through Wednesday and early Thursday. An inch or two of snow likely in most areas, and above 2,000 feet in the Brooks Range, some areas could pick up 3 or 4 inches of snow. Yet another North Pacific low will rotate up into the Gulf on Thursday, bringing more wind and rain to areas of the Gulf Coast, especially the west side. And then it still looks like we're going to see below normal temperatures centered on the southern mainland into early June. So don't look for any summer-like warm-ups anytime soon. For Alaska statewide weather, I'm Peter Chan.